Gentleman from California.
Speaker, at this time I'm happy to yield 4 minutes to my good friend from Houston, Mr. Paul.
Gentleman's recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I ask unanimous consent to revise and extend my remarks. I rise to express a few concerns that I have regarding both the Commission and the trend toward a constitutional amendment that might solve some of the problems that people anticipate. I certainly agree with the gentleman from Washington that this is a very serious issue, and this is, to me, not just a casual appointment of a commission, but we're dealing with something that is, in a constitutional sense, rather profound, because we're talking about amendments that are suggesting that our governors will appoint members of Congress for the first time in our history. And that should be done with a great deal of caution and clear understanding of what we're doing. My concern, of course, of the Commission is that we're moving rather rapidly in that direction. Hopefully that is not the case. We had the Commission report of the Continuity of Government Commission yesterday, and that was released. And then we had a unanimous consent agreement to bring this up. Like this is, we need to do this in a hurry. Ordinarily, if we deal with constitutional amendments, quite frequently what we'll do is we will have a constitutional amendment proposed, and then we will hold hearings on that particular amendment. And I think we could handle it that way. But I have another concern about the urgent need and the assumption that the world ends if we're not here for a few days. You know, there are times when we're not here, like in August and in September, and in a few months we take off. Of course, we can be recalled, but the world doesn't end. In a way, this need for a constitutional amendment to appoint congressmen is assuming that life cannot go on without us writing laws. And I would suggest that maybe the urgency isn't quite as much as one thinks. I wanted to quote Michael Baroni, who was trying to justify this constitutional amendment, and he says, think of all the emergency legislation that Congress passed in the weeks and months after September 11th, authorizing expanded police powers. None of this could have happened. But now that we look back under those emergency conditions, a lot of questions are being asked about the Patriot Act and the attack on our Fourth Amendment and civil liberties. So I would suggest it could be a slower approach.
Well, gentleman yield. I thank my friend for yielding, and I appreciate greatly the concerns that he has raised. Let me first say that I was very pleased, and my colleagues in the Rules Committee will recall this. As we proceeded with implementation of the Patriot Act, I insisted that we have a sunset clause so that this institution would be required to take another look at the ramifications of the Patriot Act, and I know that there are wide-ranging concerns that have been raised. Second, on the issue of the constitutional amendment, I've already stated that I'm very concerned about the prospect of moving ahead with a constitutional amendment that would take this institution from being the body of the people to becoming, as the other body was designed in the Constitution, to be the body of the states, and make this the body of the states again, which I believe would in fact make it the case if we were to have governors appoint members of the House of Representatives. And so I think that also this joint committee is designed to look at these concerns, look at the issues that are out there. We've all talked about the gravity of it. We know that it is a very, very serious matter, and I will assure my friend that there is no way that this committee, if it were to come forward with a proposed constitutional amendment, would act without going through the process of having the Judiciary Committee look at the prospect of amending the Constitution, and then we in the Rules Committee would address it again, and then it, of course, would have to go through that confirmation process. And I'd yield an additional 30 seconds to my friend if he would like to further comment.
I thank the gentleman for yielding me that additional time, and I would like to say I'm pleased to hear what you have said, because there are some who see this just from outside, seeing that what we are doing here today is nothing more than a continuity of what was done yesterday, and you suggest very strongly
Absolutely.
to me that you do not see it that way.
Not at all.
And I think that gives me some reassurance, and maybe some others the same reassurance, and I thank the gentleman.
Gentleman from Texas.